nice day. I'm doing this quite late. Oh, hi Poppy. Poppy's here. Say hello everyone. Hello to everyone, Pops. So I'm here to review the named pattern Mimosa Culottes. I don't think I showed you guys the packaging last time, but here it is. And I have taken a little bit longer than I thought to make them, but I'm going to tell you all about them. So first, Poppy, you're going to have to pop off. I'm going to put you on there. Sit, sit. Can you stay there whilst I do the whirl? Probably not. If she blocks, then I'm going to move her. Okay, here they are. I'll do a turn around. Pocket. And I don't know if I'm going to stand here so you can see. I would wear them probably with heels or maybe with flats. You can see the sort of width and fullness of them there. The fit is really nice. They're not overly fitted, so it's not too complicated to fit. But yeah, here we are. These are the pleats. Can you see those? And yeah. Okay, right, Poppy, you've been very distracting. You can come back on my lap. Okay, so what do I think of these? Well, of all the patterns I've reviewed so far, I've always had lots and lots of positive things to say, and I've actually struggled to think of anything that's maybe that could be improved. These patterns, I don't feel like, this pattern, sorry, I don't feel like that. I do actually love the culottes, and I think the fit is great, and I'm very happy with the end result, I really am. Just so you know guys, this is our triple crepe fabric, and we've got it in loads of colours. It's perfect for this pattern, it really is. So yeah, I'm really happy with them, but I just felt that the pattern, or rather the instructions to the pattern, were not brilliant. So as an independent pattern company, I feel like one of the reasons why we have set out to do this is because the existing patterns on the market were poorly fitted, not very stylish, and the instructions were really bad and they weren't that helpful. So for me, when we do our Sew Over It patterns, it's really important that we spend a lot of time thinking through the instructions and all the illustrations, and literally it takes ages, it really does, which is why we don't release them that often, because it's so much work. This pattern, I felt like the instructions weren't that easy to follow. So I'm not saying don't go out and buy this pattern, because they are absolutely lovely, and I really, I'm really happy with them, and I am going to wear them a lot. But if have never made any trousers before, don't get this pattern. Or if you've never maybe done a fly front before, I think you might struggle as well. Now obviously there's lots of things on YouTube that you can watch to help you catch up, so if you haven't done a fly you could watch that on YouTube. But I do think that the pattern should more or less give you everything you need to know, and there were various stages when I was like, do they want me to do this or do they not want me to do this? And I was a little bit confused. So, and I thought, well, if I'm a bit confused, then that means that probably other people will be confused. So yeah, so if you are making these and if you have bought this pattern, like, you'll love them, you really will. Like I said, the fit is really good. I didn't have to do anything particularly. I just made the waistband a bit smaller. But yeah, if you just don't beat yourself up if you're struggling a bit with the instructions, because I did too. The other thing you need to be careful of is there's no seam allowance included. So you need to add your seam allowance. So I almost missed that, which could have been a disaster. But fortunately I noticed it at the last minute. And that's probably another thing that I didn't particularly like. For me, I'm quite time poor. I don't have lots of time to kind of suddenly, an extra half hour to add all my seam allowances on. Plus I don't trace off my patterns. I know some of you do that, so you just have all the original pattern in place still, but I don't do that, I just cut away. So for me that was a bit of a disappointment, because I felt like I paid £15 for a pattern and then I had to add the seam allowance, so wasn't so keen on that. However, let me talk about what I did in terms of sizing to let you know. So the size chart is actually inside this, it's just on the first page on the booklet. And I made the UK size 8, which I was very happy about because normally I'm not an 8 at all on my bottom. My bum sticks out and that requires a size 10 normally. But the size 8 I cut because I could see that they were quite flared. So I thought that on the hip and bum area actually they'd get quite big there. So it worked fine. And with the finished measurements, they do include the finished measurements, which is great. So you can just see. Just always make sure that you've definitely got some ease there, so don't just go for the exact same measurements as your body. You do need at least 1 to 2 inches ease for trousers. So yeah, they were fine, and the only thing I had to do was the waist was a little bit too big, so I adjusted that, and rather than tweaking the rest of it, I just increased the size of the pleats. I'm going to put you down because you're blocking the actual trousers. I'm really sorry. So the pleats I just took in more, and another thing that I did with the pleats is I actually moved them out. So I made up the trousers. I didn't fit them until I had put the fly in, so that's quite far. So the last thing that you do is the waistband and then the hem, of course. So when I'd made up the trousers and all I had to do was the waistband, I then popped them on. And what I found was that these pleats here were quite far in, and on me they made my tummy look bigger, so because of the position of them. And this is something I learned when we were doing couture and fitting endless bodices and various things on people. Some people suit seams or pleats further in because it gives the optical illusion of their waist being smaller, so that can be helpful, and that might have been, you know, the design feature why they put them there. But everybody's different, as we know, and for me that was sitting just too far in. It was just sticking out because of my tummy, so I moved them to the side, and I found that much more flattering. However, if you were to move them to the side, that could make you look more hippie, and certainly they open out more when your hands are in the pockets. So it's worth just having a look and seeing what is right for you, but don't ever feel that you can't move pleats. That's part of the fitting process. So if you feel that the pleat looks a little bit better further in or further out, then just move it. And likewise, you can use that to gain a bit of extra room in the front if you need it. So if you want to let it out a bit, you've got that pleat there, which is great. I always normally say for trousers it is worth making a toile, because they're possibly the hardest thing to fit. Like there's so many complicated points with trousers. So I would recommend it, especially if you know when you go shopping you often find that trousers don't fit you, then I'd always recommend making a toile first, or at least making a pair that you don't mind if they're not perfectly fitted. Certainly when we're doing our ultimate trousers, I often recommend doing them in like a stretch cotton, because then the fit is easier, and then maybe the second second version you make in a non-stretch fabric. But for these, yeah, like I said, the waist is the main thing that has to fit you, and it's obviously high-waisted, so it's got to fit into your natural waist. And then the hip is relatively loose-fitting, so it's not so difficult to fit. But I'm quite long from crotch to waist. I'm actually quite long from here to here, so I'm quite long in the waist. I'm usually about just over an inch longer than normal, and the same, I'm quite long from this part of me. So from here down to the base of my bottom when I'm sat on a chair is also quite long. So that implies to me that maybe, and I didn't have to change anything, so that if you're short there, then you might have to shorten them, shorten the crotch. But that was absolutely fine for me, so I was a happy bunny. So there we go. That's my review of the Mimosa Culottes. I know a couple of you have some and were waiting for me to review this to make them, so I hope I've encouraged you to get started, but also warned you that you might find it a little bit difficult. So that's it for today. I've got my basket full of my fabrics to review for November, and I'm going to be doing that this week as well. So you guys will be seeing this video in a couple of days, and then I will get the other video edited for my fabric haul for this month. So we're a little bit late in the month, but because I'm getting married next month, I'm actually getting married just over a month now. I'm not going to do a fabric and pattern haul in December or makes because I'll be on my honeymoon, so I won't be able to do that. So I'm going to make a few videos though that the girls will be playing whilst I'm away, but it just won't be sewing ones because I'm just not going to have time. But a lot of you were very keen to see my wedding dress, so I'm going to do that, I think. I also want to show you these. I just got them from India. This is not really to do with sewing, but I thought you might be interested. These are my wedding favours. I wasn't going to do wedding favours, but then we're having a slight Indian theme to the wedding. We're going to have Indian food, and I'm going to decorate the venue in an Indian-y way. A nod to India. And so I got these little elephants. And those of you that have been to India or even been seen in Indian shops, they basically come, you can get them on like a long string with a bell on. These ones though, you can hang up actually. I asked my sister's partner, his family's Indian, and one of his sisters lives in North India, and she went and got these for us, which was really sweet of her. So everyone's going to have a little elephant on their table, and then we're going to put a little swing tag round the elephant's neck with people's names, so they'll be doubling up as name places as well. But elephants are my favourite animal by far. I absolutely love them, and the one time that I got close to an elephant in India when I went to Goa for the first time was in a temple. It was at a festival. A lot of the villages they'll have the temple has an elephant. Well, not all of them, but some of them. And so I went up to the elephant master. So every elephant has an elephant master, so somebody who is, his job is basically to look after the elephant. And I said, can I, come look at the elephant and be close to it? And I just suddenly felt overwhelmed with emotion at this beautiful animal. It was just incredible. So I hope when we go to Sri Lanka on our honeymoon, I will be getting to see more elephants. But I thought that would be really nice then. It says something more than, it doesn't just say India to me. This is very special to me, the fact that it's elephants. So yeah, they're really cute, and I have a whole box of them. And the funniest thing is, this has never happened. I've had lots of things sent from India before, but this was the first time that I had a box sent, and it was wrapped in calico and stitched. So they'd stitched round the box in calico, which I guess is used to protect the box because they get thrown around on the trains and all the transportation getting them to over here. But it felt really weird because to me the calico they used wasn't that particularly strong, and I was like, how is this calico actually doing anything? But anyway, it was lovely because it was all hand stitched, and it just, yeah, it reminded me of India. So thank you very much to Anjali for getting those for me. That was so kind of you. Right, that is it for today, guys. I'm going to work. I'm actually setting up the Country Living Fair today. So if you're watching this and before Sunday, so that's Sunday the 16th, is it? 15th, 16th? Today is the 10th. So yeah, come and say hi. We're going to be at the Country Living show in Angel. Okay, guys, I will see you really soon. Have a lovely day. Bye.